Hello and welcome to the Quốc Khánh Show podcast. This is Quốc Khánh, host of the show. And today going to be another episode in English. Thank you for your support. And today I want to talk about the topic of hospitality and the hotel business. I'm always curious about this industry and how it's changing, especially after the pandemic, which is COVID-19. We have, I guess, now we're going back to normal. There's no restrictions. We have opening borders for international travelers as well. And all kind of businesses are going back to normal. So what is the future of hospitality, especially in hotel business? So it's my very honor to welcome on the show today a gentleman who has more than 25 years of experience with Marriott International, which is the largest hotel operator in the world. And during that period, he has proven himself an expert in Asian luxury hospitality as he took on roles of senior leadership with assignments spent across 4 countries, 11 locations, and 6 Marriott's brands. So it's my extreme honor to welcome on the show today, Mr. Julian Wong, the General Manager of Sheraton Saigon Hotel and Towers, which is part of Marriott International.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing very fine, thank you.
What's brought you to Vietnam in the first time?
I think it's the beauty of the country and the people. I'm now the general manager for the Sheraton Saigon. But 21 years ago, I was here before. I was actually the director of sales and marketing for the Renaissance Riverside.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In fact, my first international assignment, out of my home country, which is Malaysia, was in Saigon. So again, 2 years into my assignment in Saigon, I fell in love with this place, right? And to me, it's more like a homecoming.
That was your first international assignment.
It is.
It happened to be in Saigon. And you came back now for after 21 years.
Correct.
The comeback this time, I believe, in 2018 with Sheraton Hanoi.
Yes.
That was assigned with the job, or you asked to come back?
I think both sides to it. I did almost 13 years in China. After Saigon, I went to China and then to Guam, U.S. territory, but all the while with Marriott International. So after my last assignment in China, which was in the island of Hainan, I opened 2 hotels there, right? The Marriott and also Autograph Collection. I thought, after 13 years, it's time to have a shift in terms of destination. And what popped out at that time was, generally I was looking to come back to Southeast Asia. But, more specifically, I was hoping to come back to Vietnam. So I was contacting some of the bosses up there. Marriott International, we have different continents, different area. And then, one of my former area vice president was transferred 3 years earlier in charge of Vietnam. So this opportunity came up. And, I weighed on it without hesitation, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So I decided to take that post. And, my goal at the time was to come back to Vietnam. So it was very opportune.
How did you see Saigon after 2 decades?
It is, there's a whole lot of changes.
I guess.
A lot of changes, yes. You see skyscrapers, you see, flyovers, a lot more buildings and basically, a lot of development, no doubt. But what really, to me, still, make me reminisce about my earlier years when I came, is the people, the culture, right? Saigonese, if I may call them, they are very warm, direct, and very approachable and friendly. And another virtue that I found in them is they are really very hardworking. So those are the things that, when I return back to Saigon, it's the first thing that I recognize.
Wow, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let's talk about this industry, hotel business. Oh, come on, pandemic, COVID-19. The last 2 years was really, bit of a historic moment for this industry. And of course, hotel business was one of the industry that was hit pretty hard by this pandemic. Tell me about your experience during that time. How did you navigate this crisis?
Right. It is the hospitality industry. In general, hotel industry being primarily into that was the first to be hit in any kind of crisis. To be honest with that, so again, it was brutal. If I can use just one word on that. So what happened then? What actually how shall I put it? Helped me a lot. To navigate that through. It was never easy. It was something that I've never seen in my lifetime. I think a lot of people haven't seen that happen. I actually drew my experience when I was also in Saigon at the time, whereby we undergone SARS.
Yeah,
you remember that 2003, correct?
So that's when you first came to Saigon.
Yes. So I was actually diving towards that experience to help the team and myself up. It was also coronavirus, if you can say that. It was very intense, but it was only for 3 to 4 months. So I was using a lot of that experience coming in, assuring our team actually, hey, look, I've gone through that. It wasn't a pandemic then. It was very much localized to Asia, if I get it correctly. But there was also mortality, fatality, and stuff like that. So I used that experience and start putting areas of priorities that we need to navigate with the team together. One area that I think that helped us as leaders. We have to be we need to be very empathetic to the situation, understanding our associates, their family, and the whole thing that goes along, because it was when it happened after a few months, it really go into the livelihood of people that works with us. So we have very transparent, very open discussion. Where I have sitting down with my leadership team and start working with them what we need to do, and that from there we cascade down the information and communication to everybody. I was very actively involved. I want even the rank and file to hear directly from me. What are things that we can do, and what are the handicaps and the challenges that we do. So it was pretty draining, to be honest with you, after the third month. Right, is whereby I myself was wondering how long it's going to last, and and at that time there are a lot of facets that we work on, and we still need to also put a lot of priority on the safety side of the business, whereby our guests demand, or their main thing is their own safety. In terms of how to protect themselves, right, from this unknown kind of situation. So we had to spend a lot of energy there. Initially, I was taking the lead, but after that, the company came along and put a wrap over it with a consistent program for all the Marriott properties. It was very helpful. I think we were one of the first in the industry to come out with that. And then that aspect, take care of the customer side. But in terms of the associates, we went through a whole lot. We went through, I think, things that including very deep salary, with reduction temporary. Yeah. We had to put in place, and sometimes when associate leave, our staff left, we have to split the job responsibility to the rest. So there'll be a lot more multitasking. I'm quite good at that. You have associates remaining with us who are willing to learn, develop skill set in other departments, but at the same time also they become a bit more stretched as we go. So those aspects we take care of. We also work with the trade unions. We have trade unions in the hotel to come out with ways and means to support those who are really underprivileged, if I can say that. There are also a lot on that. We do a lot of motivational, some kind of activities to get the team together where we can, right? And to boost morale and motivation, and also constantly reminding that this thing will end eventually, but we need to be able to ride over the storm. So what come out of this is, at the end of the day, there's 2 words I use. Number one is resilience. Right, we went through that. We came out of it stronger and a lot more optimistic. Right, and also the second thing is hope.
Okay.
right? Coming out from here, we become a lot more hopeful. We don't take things for granted anymore. So those are two strong words that, when I talk to the team and this come out, as we ride out of this storm,
Yeah.
in a positive manner.
You came back to Vietnam with Sheraton Hanoi in 2018, and then COVID hit in 2020.
It's like if I can just split the 2 years, 2019 when I came end of 2018, returned back to Hanoi. 2019 was such a strong year.
I believe
business-wise,
so. Right
very
before
strong, right?
the storm come, right?
Exactly, it was record year, and I thought I'm going to have it easy. I mean, just joking a bit, right? I said 2020, and we started very well until this pandemic came out from China and all over, right? It was really an eye opener. I've gone through quite a lot of storms in my life, crisis. SARS, we talk about, but before that, I have gone through Asian financial crisis. It's also a very scary thing for a whole year.
2009.
Correct. I think okay. So we are almost the same generation then.
Yeah.
So at that time, when I remember.
That's time when I just graduated.
Oh, okay.
With a finance major. Can you believe that?
Right, okay. And that time was, I was
time.
in the sales front. So, where you go to companies that, you see, they're all padlocked. So the company just shut down. But those were the time. And 9/11, there's another one. And just before this, it was the, I call it world financial crisis, right? From a subprime crisis, etc. But this one is really, it just take the stuffing out of everybody.
Yeah.
So
it's just so sudden, and it's just
sudden.
nobody expected it.
Correct. So 2 years of very contrasting years.
And 2019, it's a very strong year.
Very
It was a strong year for you.
Exactly,
You thought it was going to be an
right.
easy ride.
Yes. I thought,
It's going to test your leadership.
Absolutely.
That's lead to my next question, which is I'm curious because COVID hit everybody in the hotel business, everyone. But I think the level of suffering for each hotel is different, depending on your reaction, depending on your leadership, depending your reaction to emergency, your reaction to crisis, the level of adaptability, the willing to change. So I guess the level of suffering from COVID is different. For Sheraton, how was your experience? How did you suffer?
There's a lot of suffering, to be honest with you.
I know.
Right, but as leaders, right, we have to put our team first before us. So how can I put it, in a very layman's term, right? I think as leaders, we have to be really very calm. We have to step back and, don't, I always say, don't panic, right? You just have to observe the situation and make the best out of it. So again, when you're calm, you're clear-headed. So I went into that mode whereby, I draw a lot from my previous experience of crisis and all. And, one similarity was SARS that I mentioned earlier, right? So that we put it together, we start breaking down what we need to do for the guests, for our associates, in terms of cost management, right? So these three aspects, and also our communication, because I think I mentioned to you earlier, each hotel that I manage, right? Like, at Sheraton Hanoi, into Sheraton Saigon, we have a different ownership. So there's also some kind of, you call, stakeholding there. Okay. So there are 4 planks to it. So how do we manage those 4 planks? So, but at the end of the day, the primary one to me is our associates, our staffing, our staff, right? Because, again, as a company, we don't own anything. Our most important asset is our people. So that aspect, we find ways and means to, again, like I said, the communication comes in to make sure that, they understand where we go. Also to hold them back as a team and say, look, we have faith, and then, we'll ride this storm out together. So we went through quite a fair bit of, again, cost, contingency, the whole thing that I can think of. It's heartbreaking to see really very good people eventually that left us. Not just left us, they left the industry because they don't feel secure. And I mean really very good, talented people. So I see that happen, and that was, unfortunately, you can't stop it because, at that time you do not have anything that you can
There's
put
no
the
way to
table
hold
and
them back. There's
exactly.
no way. Yeah.
And this is happening across the board. If I can go through the whole thing now, talking to my colleagues and all, each of us have a different, we call percentage of, talent that left their hotels, and mine as well. So you put it all together, it was a very tough one. So, on the positive side, I think at Sheraton Saigon and also where I was at Sheraton Hanoi, right, we managed to hold back to the core team. And the core team, we did a lot of communication again. I think at the end of the day, I want to make sure that, I am part of the team, right? And basically letting them know the reality and what we can do and what, we have a challenge on. So it was a very candid and open discussion. The first few times was quite raw, if I can say that, because when I put something on the table, there was a lot of pushback because, it involved livelihood, their salaries, the whole thing, But eventually, I told them, I am part of you. What you get cut, I get cut harder.
Same thing.
Even bigger. So
right.
so I become part of them, and that I think when you show face, when you lead by example, I think you build trust a lot more, and they know that you are part of them. You're not going to abandon the ship, but you are actually leading and being part of it. So when you see all these instances, again, it has to come from the heart. It's not like you're doing a pretension or just pretend doing something. It's really from inside coming in. So the authenticity, if you can say that. So when you start building that kind of trust, right? Again, the right way, the team will follow you, and and when they see that they are still there after month in month out, and we are still operating, we are never cease operation. So the belief comes in, and eventually they themselves say that, hey, look, we are resilient, right? We are resilient. We are right through the storm, and we keep on joking. I sometimes joke with them, and in a lot of manners, even though serious discussion during the peak of the crisis, I like to joke a bit to make the ambience, the ambience and the atmosphere a bit more lighter. And I always tell them, we didn't get killed, right?
Okay.
What didn't kill us make us stronger. So that's how it's like a song, right? So basically, now that if I die back, I talk to the team. They all feel right. They have gone through the worst. They're a lot more resilient, and they are a lot more stronger than where they were. So at the end of the day, it's just bad that we are going through. But as a person, we all develop to be a lot more resilient. And I think we gone through this. We can do we can go through any other thing.
So during that time of crisis, what is the number one factor for action that you take? Is that cutting costs and laying up people?
This is how I can can share with you. We have not laid off anybody, but people leave. People leave because, like I mentioned earlier, they lost faith. They feel that it's not secure. We did salary cuts, but it's across the board. Always, as a leader, the GM get the highest cut, right? But when they leave the industry or they leave us, we did not replace the position.
Oh, really?
So that's we freeze the position. Again, right? Because the business level go down a lot. So you ask me, there are a couple of components we try to do. Number one is still revenue side. So revenue side is we become very creative how we're going to get business coming in. That's why we went into the staycation. We go local actually, because the border closed, so the international arrival dries up. So we had to dive local. So we created a lot of programming for the locals. And also on the positive side, there are also well-to-do locals that cannot go overseas. Yeah. So where do they go, right? So over the weekend and stuff like that, they start staying in the hotels. So that's how we managed to to elevate a bit of the difficulties. But we as far as I go, we did not actually lay off anybody. But we lose a lot of people, to be honest with you. So that's how we start shrinking our our manpower, right? And but at the same time, as both as the hotel and also as a company, right? The people first kind of values we are still very we still emphasize a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Marriott's operating, I guess, over 8,000 hotels around the world. And in Vietnam's market, we are a little bit behind the world in terms of restrictions and the peak of the pandemic. Did you take lesson from other markets in terms of dealing with this crisis from other hotels operated by Marriott? Did you take lesson from other markets to deal with the crisis here in Vietnam?
Yeah, absolutely. When the crisis first happened, we were not the first country that got hit, right? So it was in China, Wuhan, and then the whole thing. And again, because I just came out from there 2 years ago, so I actually called a lot of even the regional people, right, in Greater China, and also some of my GM colleagues in China. So I was asking them how do they go through the worst situation, because they're probably 3 months, in front of us. Yeah. So some of the the contingency plans that they put into place, the SERI, the freezing, pause, the clearance of annual leave, and also into unpaid leave, etc. Those actually I pick it up from there.
Okay.
And then also in terms of how we manage the customers. So yes, definitely it's always good to dive into the destination that basically were first impacted, and that did well actually, because everybody get hit at that time, right? So there are also some worst case scenario whereby I ask them, how do you manage it, owner side, and also your cash flow. As far as you lose your cash flow, that's difficult to operate as a business. Yeah. So we came out. There are a few different how should I put it, plans that were undergone by those different hotels in China. So I pulled it back, and I actually didn't implement immediately. I sat down with my leadership team and go through with them. And also I communicated with owners and regional, this is what I think we're going to do. Yeah. So I get consensus before I push it to the team. Yeah. And so far, thankfully, all the actions that we put together, I got buy-in from the team. It's always the first 2, 3 actions are the most difficult. Because like I said, you need to build trust in a crisis situation. Right. Once you override that and they see the result, right, that's where then the trust came 100%. So you get it in behind you 100%. Right. So that's how we go about it.
So for now in Vietnam, like I said, it's things are going back to normal. And March 15, international travelers are coming back to the country, and things start to picking up. That requires more people, like number of staff for hotels business. And are you experiencing a shortage of people because of the rising demand for now when things are moving back to normal?
Actually, no. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, it's a very big yes.
Because you lost a lot of people. A lot of people left the industry, not just the hotel.
So this is I call it a short, medium-term phenomenon. As when the borders start open, all right, the business doesn't just trickle. It start ramping up very, very fast. Yeah. So we are seeing the trend coming strong. We were expecting that, anticipating that, because I checked with other markets that start opening up, right? But the problem is that we have a lot of talents I mentioned earlier, right, that left the industry. So the pool is becoming smaller. Every hotel is like basically looking for talents coming in.
I guess so.
So yes, so we do same thing that we have. So in fact, fairly recently we have a bit of a crush in terms of stretch situation in terms of manning operations side. When the hotel become really very, very busy, it's a good problem to have, but again, right, on the manpower side, it was a big challenge. So what we do here is that we have a couple of different prong strategies. It's not going to give you immediate solution, but we are putting the wheels into action. Number one, we have been reaching back to our alumni. Those are former staff that left us. Yeah. And we have limited success, to be honest with you. We managed to get a few more back coming in. We are looking into the trainee pools. We have a lot of MOU signing with universities and schools. In fact, coming to Saigon, last week was the sixth university I went through. Right. To go through, but those are trainees that we build a pool. We bring them in to train them, but eventually the goal is to find talents there and hire them when they graduate. So that's another area we're looking at. We go to the normal job posting, the local job posting also basically. And we have also in the past a lot of casuals that work with us. Those are good ones. We identify them to permanentize them. Lastly, we are again. I was just in fact early this week discussed with my director of human resource to come up with a job fair, right?
Yeah.
To drive open talents coming in. For us, what happened here is because this Sheraton Saigon has been here for a while, so we have actually a lot of loyal staff. Majority of them are in the more senior position. They grew with the company, so meaning to say the core team is pretty much intact. So I need a lot more line associates, supervisory level. So those are the immediate challenges we have. We will again. It's not like I said over the next few months. Next 2 months is still going to be a very tough situation. But what I can see here is we are proactively putting we call actions into place, rather than waiting for it to happen basically. So we managed to narrow the gap a bit, but it will be probably a short to medium term kind of a challenge for not just for us but for the entire industry.
Because a lot of people left the industry.
It is, yeah. So what was the immediate impact on that? Two areas. Number one, the guest experience. So it became a bit more patchy, right? In the past, we were always excelling in guest experience, but now we see, example when you check in, we're not ready with the room, etc. So things got prolonged. Guests without understanding what's behind, they can't wait too long for the room to be ready. Same with restaurant, etc., etc. The quality went down a bit, but it's patchy. It's not, it's not as consistent as we want to, because you are still lacking people in certain places. But it will be, addressed over the longer term for sure.
When do you expect things to go back to like before, like 2019?
Okay.
For now, things are just starting to move up. But in your forecast, what is your expectation about the real normal level of hotel business in Vietnam?
Okay, we know as a company, also for myself, we use 2019 as a benchmark, because 2019 was a year,
so,
right? Very peak, and we stabilized
for now.
And then 2020, 2021, we know what happened, right?
We don't want to talk about those 2 years.
So when we benchmark against that, we are forecasting this year probably around 65% recovery versus 2019.
Wow, 65%.
That's correct. But even the whole of next year, I don't think we will reach 2019 level. I'm not being a pessimist, but because our business, we rely a lot of different segments, and also it depends on the key feeder markets coming in, and each react differently. So we see certain business coming almost immediately, but there are also some big like meetings, MICE business that it's going to be a bit longer coming in. Same goes with some of the leisure business that when we talk with the travel agency to operator, most of them suffer even more than the hotel side. So they are planning ahead, but not immediate. They are telling us they are planning into Q3, Q4. So you're basically having half the year gone. So I see even next year probably we reach around 90% of recovery versus 2019.
Yeah.
2024 should be a full recovery or even slightly better.
Wow.
That's why I say it's a bit long range.
Sure.
Yeah. But if you look at the business that is coming back in terms of recovery strength, I think this is how we can project.
Yep. I really understand about the problem of manpower that you mentioned, because a lot of people already lost faith in this industry after the 2 years of pandemic. And for the upcoming, let's say, job seekers or young generations who are looking into this hospitality, and they might question, it is the field that I should get into right now, right after COVID. What would you say to upcoming job seekers about this industry? What do you say to them to, let's say, build the trust and the confidence and the faith again about this industry for the coming years? Let's say after COVID,
right?
Before COVID and after COVID area, right?
I would say first and foremost, have faith.
Yeah.
This industry is really very, very resilient. We have gone through a lot of iteration of crisis. This being the most. Again, I think even from our chairman, right, Mr. J.W. Meran even mentioned he has never seen such a crisis in his lifetime. So that speaks a lot.
Yeah.
Our chairman is 90 years old this year. So again, right. So but we call you go through different cycles of economy, right? And also in this case, it's a pandemic. But we always bounce back stronger. So for those job seekers, maybe I will use myself as an example, right? I've been 26 years with Mira now.
Yeah.
I've done 11 locations, like you mentioned, right? 4 years. I enjoy every single day of my life.
Yeah.
Working in the hotel industry, right? Because of the people, the location, and also the opportunity. It's one job whereby I don't even call it job. I say it's something that I love to do. Whereby you have the opportunity to travel around the world. If you choose to, if you're mobile, you want to experience different countries, there's always an opportunity. And our company is such that we promote equal opportunity to everybody who is competent to of course depending on their performance skill set and skills. So for me, because of that aspect, you learn different culture. You learn, you enjoy different kind of food, but you basically, you get embedded into certain culture for certain years. And, for me, it's so enriching rather than, for me, if I were to stay in Malaysia where I was, right, I won't be able to learn as much as I grow. And, when we learn, when we go into different culture, right, for me, I learn to be very inclusive. So everybody is fair, everybody is, have the same opportunity. It doesn't matter about the race, the color, or the nationality. Anybody who can do well has the same opportunity. Yeah. And then you also learn to be, a bit more sensitive to different cultures.
I guess
right?
so.
Yeah. So for me, and you the beauty of it, you have an opportunity to visit a lot of different countries, location, and all.
Okay.
Right. So
the industry will be strong again.
Absolutely right.
The manpower problem, the shortage of quality staff in Vietnam, not just happened during the pandemic, because from what I have read and according to some statistics in Vietnam, you might come here just in 2018. You've been here 21 years ago, Renaissance. But I heard of, the problem of the lacking of quality staff in the hospitality in Vietnam has been around for many, many years. I don't know why, but do you have any thought on that?
I think, if I compare, 21 years ago when I was here, to be honest with you, the skill sets of the staff that we have is a lot more, is maybe a bit more lower than what you have right now. I think at the end of the day, right, it's about the company, like us, a hotel, investing into our people, especially in terms of the learnings, developments, training. Also giving them a career in that they can aspire to go. So when companies say that we are lacking this and that, I think maybe at that time they expect the staffing to come in immediately able to grab the skill set and stuff like that. No, for our hotel, the Sheraton Saigon, right? Like I think I mentioned earlier, our core team is still around. Yeah, our core team are those experienced managers, even the executive level and stuff like that. So those actually give us a lot of the structure there. But the line associate, the supervisor, those are again, right, is whereby we need to invest by ensuring that we even when we hire them, we have a very robust onboarding orientation program so that they see it from the beginning that we really take care of them, not just throw them to the sea and expect them to swim. You see. So I think a lot comes into how you want to invest into the people. As a company, again, right now because of the phenomenon of the pandemic, for us, I dare say that the challenges we have are mainly on the lower end, the rank and file, and also the line associates. On the higher senior middle level management, I think we are quite in good shape. Again, this is based on the loyalty that they have, with the hotel after that many years. Also the brand reputation of Sheraton in Saigon.
Okay.
But also as a company, like I said, now when I sit down with my leadership team, my director of human resource, we talk about training modules, right? So we are planning, ahead, what we want to do in terms of training side, whether it's skill set, whether it's discipline training, whether it's core training, and also we call leadership training. So we are all laying that down, so that our associates will see, hey, look, we are really investing into them. They have a future here, and they want to embrace that future, and also progress with us as a company. Overall, it will still be a shortage if we keep on going there, because Vietnam is really prime for growth. We there are some other cities that are quite mature in terms of hotel pipeline.
Yeah.
To me, here in Saigon, I think we still have a lot of hotels that we can build across Vietnam as well. So I think the investors are coming in. Even the owners are trying to look into that. So I think if we now it's still not as acute as in the future. That's what I think. There are areas, the universities. Like I mentioned to you, I visited 6 so far, just in Saigon. I did a lot in Hanoi. A lot of them has infused the hospitality program into their curriculum, so that has been helpful. Last week I visited one. I found really quality in them, because when we finish with the normal thing in terms of the signing and all, we open up for Q&A. The questions coming in are really very intelligent, I would say that. So you see, they are really interested in that. But we as a company, we need to invest.
At the same time, I think there should be more investment in schools and
the whole infrastructure. Yes, you're right, correct.
From the country to have more education opportunities for people who are willing to explore this career.
That's correct.
And at the same time, we need more young people, young generation who are having an interest in this industry.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm not sure which one is the root cause. We need some more school. We need some more people who really want to go into the industry.
I think overall, right, it all basically, it runs parallel.
Yeah.
You need the infrastructure. You need the formative, kind of platform, right? Schools.
And we need more people
interest,
who want to do this.
Correct. But then on the flip side, I will let the new generation coming in, to progress in the hotel industry now, after pandemic, will be faster.
All right.
Because, right, you're still lacking people and all. So again, you just imagine what is out there. Yeah.
All right. It's good to know. It's a good signal.
Absolutely.
Starting to pick up again. So I guess it's time. And that will also lead to my next question about Marriott, let alone Sheraton, expansion plans in Vietnam. What kind of role that Vietnam is playing in the map of strategy for Marriott International in terms of expanding and developing across the country?
Right. This question come at an opportune time. 2 weeks ago, our president for APEC just announced the pipeline that we have for Vietnam, just purely on Vietnam.
Can't wait to hear.
Yes, we are looking at quadruple our existing, portfolio.
Wow.
We have 10 operating hotels, resorts right now.
Yeah.
We have more than 30, hotels and resorts in the pipeline, prime for opening. 30.
More
yes, correct.
New plans in Vietnam.
Yes, and including, I think last year we signed the biggest branded residences in the world with Masterise. I think you probably hear about it, Grand Marina side. So again, it augurs very well. We have Saigon, to be honest, not that many, because it's quite mature right now. Again, space or location, but we have a lot more into the resort destination.
Yep.
Like Da Nang.
That's what we love, man.
Right, exactly right.
The beach cities.
As a company, we see a big growth in terms of leisure traffic rather than the city hotel, right? Yeah. So we have a lot of that. And we are still looking at more signing coming in. You just imagine Marriott International. We have 30 of that. We are definitely consider ourselves humbly as one of the big operator here. But there are also other hotel company also, it got expanding at quite the same pace. So Vietnam is in a state whereby, in Southeast Asia I think is the highest growth in terms of new development coming up. And it really, if I can sell this to the next generation of hotelier, your future is super bright.
And the bigger challenges now for all the hotel investors like Marriott coming to Vietnam is still the quantity and the quality of staff, of the people, you mean?
It is still going to be there, because the plan, the expansion plan is very rapid, right? And the other thing here is that even before the expansion, what we have now in existing hotel resorts here, with the border reopening, right? Again, there's a lot of demand coming into Vietnam, right? You see business travelers. You see investors coming in. Eventually, you see the return of the leisure side. So everybody wants Vietnam to be in Vietnam, which is good for all of us. But then, because of that, in terms of the supply side, the human resource is going to be still a bit of a challenge. So we like I said, right, we need to invest in our people, right, and we need to come up with strategies to drive more recruitment, and also to tell them why their future is in the hotel industry. It's not the easiest thing to do, but again, right, we keep on trying, right, to attract the right talent.
You came to Vietnam 21 years ago with Renaissance, and then you've been around, and then you come back in 2018. I'm wondering about your experience of managing people and the working environment. I don't mean to compare, but do you see anything different? Anything of your observation about the working environment here in Vietnam, the hotel business here in Vietnam, in Sheraton, Hanoi? Anything different comparing to your experience before in China?
In terms of if I go back to China, it's a big country, right? 1.4 billion. So the local component for the room business is very high.
Okay.
So they have a lot of intra-city travel, and somehow a lot of them also the population. They also work with big, the Fortune 500. To be honest with you, like Apple, IBM, this and that. So they do a lot of travel in country.
Yeah.
So but when I first went to China, that was 2004. Right, it was a bit different, right? 65% international, but now by now it has rotated, right? Around 70% domestic. So that's a big part of that. But in Vietnam is still a bit in the infancy. When I was in Hanoi, before the pandemic, 95% of the room business, they are from international. We only have 5% domestic. So you ask me, I think eventually that will come up. It's always when the country start growing and moving into a developed situation, it will start tweaking around. So that's the biggest difference I've seen. Right? A lot more domestic component in China.
Yeah.
And then over here is more international.
Yeah.
But last 2 years I took it differently. We have to start diving into the local side. Again, because that level is still the local component is still quite in the infancy, if you can say that. So it can't help you to sustain the hotel operation, if I can say that.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the biggest one. In terms of the people, again, different cities have different needs and all, right? Yeah. So if I was in primary cities like Beijing, Shanghai, they're a lot more sophisticated. You can say that. The talent a bit quicker to ramp up. So you have a lot more resources. But then I also work in tier 2, tier 3 cities like Wuhan, and this one is called Huizhou, whereby I struggle for talent, to be honest with you. So so that's that. But returning back to Saigon now, if I compare, 21 years is a long time, right? So,
I know, right?
Yeah, but the talent has a lot more. It's more advanced and more developed. No doubt about that.
Of course.
The skill set and stuff like that. So that has been very helpful. But the lack of people in the industry, right, was made much more acute over the last 2 years. So we are basically now picking up the pieces as we go, right? So we have to come up with strategies to make sure that we drive the new talent coming.
Is there any noticeable working culture here in Vietnam that you observe, that you think this is so Vietnam, this is like very Vietnamese, and anything like that happening in your industry?
I think so. I think so, right. So, again, I use 21 years ago and now, there's a couple of common traits. In Saigon, Ho Chi Minh, right? The people here are really very open, friendly, open, direct. That has also was what I experienced 21 years ago. So that is the culture piece, which I love it. So and for me, as a foreigner coming back, right, I feel very welcome.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not when I feel welcome, meaning to say, for me as another person coming back, to adapt, right? To adapt to the environment becomes a lot more easier, right? It takes a very short period of time. So those are the one. And the other piece is, I noticed that it's the same thing. 21 years ago, people want to learn. They are very hardworking, and I see it now as well. So those are the common traits that I see, right? But of course, the aspiration and all change over the years, of course.
Yeah, I heard that a lot. What would you say are your biggest lessons of leadership, working with Marriott for over 25 years, especially managing people across culture? What are some of the lessons that you learned from your leadership roles with, many brands owned by Marriott for the last 25 years?
I think, on the leadership side, there's a lot of things we can talk about, right? We talk about being focused, making sure that we have goals, making sure that, the team, we take care of them, we make sure they have a development plan. Those are all part of leadership traits. But for me, going through after that many years, two things that sticks out. Number one, it will be listening to people. Right, I think that area, I wouldn't say, you asked me 20 years ago, I might not be listening so much, I'm talking too much, right? But now I tend to sit down a bit, pull back, listen. Because, when you listen, you also hear, right? The problem is when you start talking over people, that's where you lose it. So that aspect takes a lot of discipline. And, my character is like to go ahead, right? So you tend to pull back and listen, and after listening, sometimes it's easier to make an adjustment for the team. The second thing is empathy, right? We need to know that person. We need to be able to put ourselves into that person's shoes, why they react certain ways. So you know more, then you can sit down with a person and come up with something. So these two are, to me, something that, beside the normal leadership traits we talk about, strike me very strong. Yeah, and I learn as I start listening more, and we do that, the team respect you more. They know that you're real. They know you as a leader. You hear them, right? And being empathy means, especially last 2 years. Right, you have to be genuine, unpretentious, right? Putting yourself in a situation. Then when you make a decision, you think about them rather than yourself. So these two are, I call it a standout, in terms of leadership skill.
Listening and being empathy.
Yes.
I guess when people going through difficulties, like you said, what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. People will come up with smart solutions because you put into the hard situation. So for the hotel business, I guess the last 2 years was really, really brutal, like you said. I want to know about some solution that you come up with or any innovations of this industry coming in the future. What's going on right now in the hotel industry that really, change the way you work after dealing with the crisis, and this industry will come up with more innovation solutions? What would that be, and how do we look into the future of hotel business?
I think one area as a company we were working on before the pandemic, but we are fast forwarding that now, is technology. we call it contactless, guest contactless technology, whereby we as a company we already come up with a system where we manage all our guests response. So it's digital. We have a merit-bound voice site. We go in. You need anything, just tap. You have to call, and we will get it done for you. Basically, whether it's issues, whether it's requests, whether it's check-in, right? The other plank to it is we are coming up with a mobile key technology, whereby mobile key using key as a key card. So we call it contactless, right? So once we are still not there yet. We are looking at next year for implementation. We have to change all the door locks to make sure they have the infrared technology, Bluetooth, to connect. So it's an investment for the hotel side. But out of it, it will mean that our guests, again, right, the key cards and all, it is still there. But again, if they still want to go for the hard key, they can get it. But they if they want to, again, right, we have that technology whereby they will, they will allow them basically to program it to their key during the duration of their stay, to use key, the cell phone, basically your cell phone to connect in, to open up the door actually. So we call it mobile key technology. So the contactless side comes in, and we are also looking into ways and means in terms of F&B, contactless. We are basically using the word digitalization of the entire ecosystem, right, for the guests. Sure. The other aspect is on the safety side. So we have again, we are not alone, but we are we actually was the first one to come in. We have a name for it. We call commitment to clean, a simple way, whereby we start looking at how to clean the room, the public area, in a safe. We use a lot more, disinfectants and also the sanitizing thing, right? To make sure that guests understand that we prioritize the safety first. So that was helpful in this pandemic situation. As a company, we always put the safety, security of our guests first, but we are amplifying that now. So that makes them feel they are assured, right? That we are really taking care of their interests first. The contact listing will come in. It come into it's basically right on the CTC, right? Simply because guests feel, hey, I don't want to have the same we call room key that we cut for different guests after the night. So I'm going to use my cell phone, right? And again, right, when they check out, they don't necessarily have to go to the front desk to settle the bill. We can do online kind of thing. So those are part of the things that we are already developing. Some hotels in North America has already started implementing. New hotels that we are open already with that technology already in place. But our hotel, again, right, we need to invest, and we are looking at that aspect. So those are the changes. The third plank is on sustainability. So as a responsible citizen to the world, right? We call it serve the world. That's part of our values, anyways. Yeah. So by second half this year, we are changing, resetting our we call it residential bath amenities, whereby we are replacing all those small mini bath amenities like shower gel, conditioner, shampoo, the one-time use type. So, replacing them with big bottles that we stick on the wall. The pump type, so that it will save plastics, if you can say that, right, along the way. We are already into removing all plastic straws by using composite or paper type. So we are looking into that. For us, as a property, we for the club lounge we don't use any more bottled waters, but we have dispenser and also detox water. We also put a sign up to the our customers and say, look, you are part of what we are, right? And if you can help us to try to take away plastics, right? That would be very helpful. And the last part is we are moving into the meeting rooms. Some companies are still sticking to big bottles; they still want it, but we are letting know that we have detox water. It's not part of cost saving per se, but it's part of trying to save the planet.
I got it.
Right.
So I guess it's all about technology and being a responsible citizen or kind of environmental friendly product.
Yes.
But all business can do that. You invest in technology You invest in environmental friendly products. But what would differentiate a hotel from a hotel? That's what I'm curious. A 5-star hotel from a 5-star hotel. What really attract customer to go to that hotel? What differentiate this hotel to that hotel? Even though you guys are 5-star, but what is really the difference here? What make people stay and come to that hotel? Okay. Because after COVID, everything is picking up, right? Everybody is rushing, demand is rising, demand is rising. But why people choose a particular 5-star hotel?
That's a very good question. That's set me back thinking. No,
yeah.
I think the main thing is guest experience.
Okay.
And we say, how can you elevate guest experience? So, example, you're staying with my hotel compared to another hotel, Y hotel. Mm-hmm. So, what make it different, right? The hardware, more or less, you have, you have a restaurant. I have a restaurant. Same. You have ballroom. Yep. I have rooms, etc. Right?
Same.
How old, how new, right? So, at the end, it strikes back to the software, the people.
All right.
So, meaning to say, the guest needs to be able to feel love. TLC, tender loving care. So if you are a guest, you come to stay with me, right? And my team, myself, I know you by name because after a second, I know your preferences. You like espresso in the morning. Before you say it out loud, you have espresso. Yeah. By the way, that's your drink. You personalize the service, right? You basically make sure that throughout the journey that you have with me in the hotel, right, you are treated seamlessly across. That's my goal actually as we go ahead. And also, if you go to a restaurant, the food is good. The food is better than a lot of places that you try. If it's local food, it has to be authentic. Right, some kind of any other place you can find. So if you can go and put them into, right, I think it will elevate the guest experience to the extent they say, hey, the next trip coming in, I will definitely stay with you. So that is the aspiration of every hotel, including mine. We are already working on that. I think we are, in a lot of places, I think hearing from guests, looking into data coming from social media, TripAdvisor, our own, internal site. I think we are there, but not as consistent as I want to. Right? Simply because, again, right, sometimes we have a lacking of the manpower pool. Okay. But that is the medium and long-term range I'm going in. So if you can do that, the guests feel the TLC, right? They will come back to you again and again. But of course, very importantly, as a company, we have a very, very we have the world's largest loyalty program called Merit Bonvoy.
Okay.
So meaning that if you're a Merit Bonvoy member, right, you stay here, but you got 7,999 hotels to go to, example, to earn your points and redeem. Okay. So that's a powerful player to that. Yeah.
Sure. And what is your observation of the Vietnamese customers? Because the behavior might be changing after COVID. And for now, we talk about lockdown, working from home, staycation. Would that change behavior for coming tourists, coming travelers, and that impact the way hotels are operating now?
I think, my feeling here, you have used some of my previous experiences in other location, right? I think the domestic, local Vietnamese, some kind of relationship with hotels, meaning their stays and all, right, it will keep on expanding, I'm sure. Because, with the new generation coming in, whatever industry, they start progressing into the, we call, into any companies, you start moving into the middle senior leadership level. So when you have a lot into that, there'll be a lot more travel coming in. And I see it, when I mentioned China, you asked me 20 years ago, no. But then you start to see it coming out, right? So I see a lot more interaction between domestic travelers to the hotel, in general, international hotels. The staycations thing, it was very pronounced over the COVID situation. I think it will stay because people like to get away from home sometimes. We make the price affordable. We build in some kind of components that make it, like what you say, staycation. Right? There are some room components, some recreational components, and also some food components. So, and we are experiencing actually, quite a lot of demand over weekends, which really helped us a lot, right? Being a business hotel. So that aspect comes in. Yeah, still, I think it will continue to grow as we go. For the food and beverage side, right now it's purely domestic. So you ask me, in Saigon, I see a lot more people like to dine outside, right? So it's helpful for us, no doubt about that. So they are a lot more particular about food quality and stuff like that. They are very vocal about, what we present and stuff like that. So which is a good thing. It keeps us on our toes. Right? I say nothing is perfect, right? We need to keep on improving. So that aspect also we see a lot. A lot more diners, right? And this will definitely grow because as people become more affluent, right? They want to go and enjoy food in a good location and good venue. So our goal now to fit in is to make sure that our food quality goes out there. I told my team that we need to ensure our food and beverage reputation continue to improve. Right. Otherwise, how are you going to draw the crowd to the hotel, to a great hotel? So and in Asia, basically, right? In Vietnam as well, the food and beverage reputation makes the hotel. Right. So people go there because the food.
Sure.
Because our Chinese food, Levi is good. Our Saigon cafe, all the dining is good. So that basically build up the hub for reputation. So our goal as a hotelier, right, with my team is to make sure that we continue moving, improve the quality of the food. If you want to serve local food, make sure they're authentic. Don't give a half-hearted kind of efforts there, right? Otherwise, people say, "What kind of food do you have?"
Okay.
So that's the thing. If you want to do also, if it's Western, make sure it's genuine and presentation-wise, quality-wise, consistently good. So so those are the things that we need to work on to fit what kind of business that we have.
Sure.
But on the local component, we talk about local, whether traveling and dining, we see a big growth there.
Yeah, that's guest experience right there. So, like you said, for now you are about 65% comparing to the benchmark of 2019, and of course we always want to go back to 100%, just like before. So what are some of the challenging that you think are lying ahead in front of you on this journey of going back to 100% benchmark of development 2019?
The first aspect I think we talk quite extensive on is still the human resource side.
Human resources, of course,
right?
always.
So,
we need more people coming to this industry.
Right? And so the infrastructure needs to be set. And again, right, I'm very very active into this, working with the universities. So we are going to draw, and we have already started looking into trainees who do well with us. They have to graduate. They can't be second year going and we start plucking them out. No. So when they graduate, we offer them a job. So the moment they finish off, they have something there.
All right.
Right. And we have quite a few actually joining us that way. And we also use the some of the so-called used to be trainees, but after 3-4 years they become manager level. We use that as a role model, and talk to the university involved and say, this is your graduate students, and now he or she is a manager with us. So that's, you build hope, if I can say that, by using a real person.
Yep.
Not just we use a storytelling aspect, but with a real person that graduate from your university. So I think, with that, I think we will have some success getting some talents coming in. The challenges that I can see, right, as we go further down, right, there'll be a lot more supply coming in. I think you saw Hilton next door.
So it's building now.
So that give me a sleepless night, to be honest with you. Right, and Mandarin Oriental over the other side, right. So there are, again, when supply comes on, you have a lot more competition. So of course, those are the things that as an operator, right, you make you think at night actually.
You're so humble. What are some of the DNA of Marriott International that make you guys stand out from the crowd, stand out from competition? I'm just curious. Right. And are those DNA being instilled around the world at the same standard, or is different depending on the market? Right.
So again, a great question here. I'm a diehard Marriott guy, right? So yes, exactly right. Yeah. The one thing that is so strong that we have is our value. Our value of we say taking care of people, and we work a few things under it, right? The recruitment, the development, the training, the career progression, and also the opportunity. 8,000 hotels, you can go anywhere if you are qualified. So again, that's how we spread out. The total rewards we got. So that aspect is really super critical. That's our main core value, part of the culture. We talk about pursuing excellence, right? Everywhere we do, right? As a company, we are very, to be honest, beside the people side, we are very performance driven. My team know it every time I talk about numbers and also all aspects.
Look at the result.
Yeah, result, the people side, the guest side, the market share side, the whole thing. So we are looking into all this. So that's part of the value. Another aspect is the able to embrace change, right? And then, like I said, innovation comes in. We are the first to lead it. When COVID comes in, we are first to do the safety and aspect, the health aspect for the guests. So we are the first to come in. So we are very quick and rapid into embracing change. One of the core values that I stand very close to me is integrity. Integrity, right? So whatever we do has to be very transparent. We have to be very honest. We need to build trust. So and a lot goes into we don't go into gray areas. Right, the company core values go there, and my personality is also like that. So it fit in very nicely. So when I talk to anybody, whether it's ownership, guests, and all, it's always very clear. You don't have any hidden agenda. So that become a big part of it. Yeah. And finally, we always try to reinvest back, ourselves into the locations that we have a flag. I'm part of the business council. Vietnam, Cambodia Business Council. Whereby 10 operating hotels, all the GMs, and we are not reporting to each other. We have a chairman, but we work on a voluntary basis. But we carry Marriott philosophies, culture by coming together. And in every location we have that. I think we are the only hotel company doing that. So for this case, I'm championing the universities.
Okay.
For all the hotels.
Yeah.
So I'm very active in that. When I go, I don't talk about Sheraton Saigon.
Okay.
I talk about Marriott in Vietnam. The growth, the opportunity, and the MOU we signed is not just individual; it's across all the 10 hotels. So that's how you propagate the name, the brand, but also how we as a company come back. So the culture part is again I quite non-negotiable. From the time I joined the company until now, different location, different countries, right? I said that is the glue that hold everything together.
Yeah. Not many people can stay with a company for 25 years.
If a company has no culture, then it's difficult, right?
Then,
correct.
Definitely a reason for that. Talking about business, one last question about business for Marriott in Vietnam. You mentioned the expansion plan, 30 new more projects to be in Vietnam. And of course, your competitors are coming too, supply, but you guys are expanding too across Vietnam, not just Saigon or big cities. My question is, what kind of segment that you guys prioritize, or do you think what kind of segment that would bring the most revenue for Marriott in the coming years? Would that be resort in the big city, or still hotel in big city like Sheraton, or the resort hotel in other provinces along the coastal side of Vietnam?
Great question. Right. I have worked in city hotels a lot. I have also worked in resorts. So in terms of the stability of business, consistently, right, the city hotels carry stability.
Okay.
The seasonal situation, right, is a bit more, it's less pronounced. Right, so you do quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, right? The variation is not a big jump, but resort is very seasonal. So in terms of stability of business, city hotel, right? So stability, right? So Saigon, Ho Chi Minh, and Hanoi, basically that's where you go. Da Nang wouldn't, because Da Nang is be considered as a resort destination.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So in terms of growth, the growth won't be exponential. It will not be a 20%, 30% growth, right, year on year kind of thing. You won't see in a city hotel because consistency, right? Right, the business travel, they are not going to this year pay 100, next year pay 150. No way, right? So so that we have to be very mindful.
Unless we have the World Cup in Saigon.
But we see a lot more we call growth opportunity potential in the resort.
Sure.
It's seasonal, but again, the growth from a base, from a base that you have going up, is really exponential. So that's why, we as a company, we are really looking into the resort space for growth, for development, and also for new contract, if I can say that. So that's how we split up it.
Yep. As a traveler, I'm looking forward to that as well.
Right.
Resort, hotels in the beach cities of Vietnam. Many opportunities out there across the country.
In fact, just to add on a bit, I think of all the new properties that we have, right, 30, I dare say around 80% are resorts.
I guess so. I can't wait to see that happening. I think my last question would be on the, let's say, because you mentioned the big problem is manpower. So let's try to inspire the young generation a little bit on the last part of the conversation by learning more about you. Because you are, 25 years with Marriott.
Thank you.
25 years with this industry. You are the example of somebody who not losing faith in this industry. Tell me more about how did you, end up in hotel business? How did you get into this business? What inspired you in the first place when you were a young student? It is your passion a long time ago, or it just happened?
It's I chose the second. It just happened.
It just happened.
So you see, I graduated with finance. So
okay.
so I have never been to a hotel school. I got friends who went to Switzerland, to Lausanne and La Roche to get the hospitality education, but not me. So in fact I started out as an accountant and auditor.
Oh,
and it's
accountant and
somehow
auditor.
Yes, and but I by the time I finished my as an accountant, I did 1 year in a construction company. I by the end of the almost 1 year tenure, I to be honest with you, I don't know what I want to do, but I know what I don't want to do.
Okay.
I don't want to remain in that arena because I find it boring. I like to, even from very young, I'm very curious. Like I love people.
You love to travel too.
Exactly right. So that somehow become the inspiration, and then and it so happened that there was a job opening, right? I joined a travel company. Very after the accounting days, and and I call it a leap of faith. It's like when your life still young at that time. You're at a fork road. You choose left, you go back to where you are safe, good salary, safe and stuff like that, right? But boring, something I don't like. And then here you go to the unknown.
Got it.
So I was single. I say, "Look, what else can you lose, right?" So we got to try. And I'm really thankful that I went into that direction. So from travel industry, I moved into hotel again, right, through recommendation and also opportunity. So the moment I went into the hotel industry, I knew I found a love there. So then, and I started with in the hotel industry in Malaysia. There was a small, regional hotel group. But then after that, Marriott came calling.
Okay.
That was, 1996. I joined, for the Renaissance or New World Kuala Lumpur. So from there onwards, but even though when I joined there, my mindset was always I want to work overseas.
Okay.
Somehow that it was like a automatic call that came in, and through the God, Marriott gave me the opportunity. I've been harping to my boss and say, "Hey, look, next opportunity overseas." So it so happened that in 2001 that opportunity came along with the Renaissance Riverside Saigon. Wow. I now look back. This is my almost 22nd year, 21st year overseas, and I just love it. Again, different culture, different location, different food, working with different nationality all over make me who I am today. And it made me a lot more resilient, a lot more able to adapt to changes. I love what I do. You ask me to go back in time to a younger self, I'll still do the same thing because it is something that keep me happy, passionate and also motivated every single day. So again, to me, it's a job, but it's something that I love to do. So that's the main difference.
Yeah, it's very lucky to have that, right?
It is. Yeah.
Are there any must-have characteristics from a person in order to achieve success in this industry, or in order to be suitable for this industry? If somebody want to work in the hotel business, what kind of characteristics that they have to have?
Yeah, the hotel industry has a lower threshold compared to other industry that's a bit more technical and all, right. So the entry coming in is a lot more lower. Again, education is important to point you to certain route you need to go. But the important thing that we look for, when I start hiring people, right, the first thing will be the personality, right? The person needs to be able to love people, to be honest with you, able to serve, and also able to be friendly and warm. So that is something that we always, when we interview, even though you have your CV and your papers over here, right, the interview process will basically pull you up. So that, and also, so basically that's the number one thing that we look at. The second part of it is, the ability, to learn and grow, and willing to, sometimes take a bit more hard step to go to where you need to go. Right, so a lot of hard work, if you ask me. But to me, the reward is really tremendous. Right, I use myself as an example. Right, I have, again, the privilege of working with the company and also across the location. But again, if I look at myself, my younger self, I work hard. It's not like I jump straight to the position. I went through all the different iterations of the position. Some shorter, some longer, but it helped shape who I am. Yeah. So the important thing is, your personality strikes a lot. Right, whereby it's a serving people industry, so you need to love people. I think, right? People. Exactly, right. And
can I be introvert?
Well, it depends on the departments that you join. Right, if you are in the finance side, possible, right? If you are in the IT side, you don't need to talk too much, right?
But
for the people facing, we call guest facing area, you need to. Otherwise, it's difficult, right? You do not expect the guest to approach you. But the other way around.
I got you.
So basically that's it.
Yeah. What was your first job when you started this
hotel industry?
In the hotel industry? What was your first position?
My first position was I was always in the sales and marketing discipline. So I started as an assistant sales manager.
Assistant manager.
Yeah, assistant manager. Yeah, long time back.
Sales and marketing.
Yeah, I progressed. Again, one important aspect, if I can say for the aspiring hotelier, right? If you have a good role model, a good mentor, that helps a lot. I was very fortunate to have, at that time, my boss, right? He was my director of sales marketing, right? He was tough, quite tough. The hotelier during my time, they're tough. Right? They push you to the corner. They use all kind of languages. Right?
That's the mentor they're looking for.
Correct. But he guided me the right way. He's very, very smart guy. But he's very unselfish. So he was my first role model in the industry. Until today, I'm still in touch with him. He's now a GM in US. He and family emigrated 20 years ago to Chicago. But we still communicate regularly. Now he's no longer my mentor, but he's my good friend. So my mentor become good friend, right? But we still talk a lot about the hotel industry in US, and also we still exchange a lot of information here. But if you have a good mentor, right, it help you move to progress to another level, on the right path, and also in the right way. But as you go on, for my career, I have a lot of different mentors and role models, because sometimes after a certain level, you outgrow them. You need another one to guide you along. So if you can do that, again, I was really very fortunate to have that, and then that helped shape my career in the right way.
Yeah. So do you have time now to be a mentor to someone else?
Again, I've done mentorship. I've done official mentorship and also informal. So I've done 2 programs in Marriott, guiding future aspiring GMs. It was a 1-year program whereby I started the potential candidates are hotel managers, director of operations. So I have 3 of them, and basically I went through with them. Again, a lot are based on my experiences. right? And up to last year, I was asked to mentor a first-time GM.
All right.
Right, officially. So again, I've gone through that. I've in my career, I've grown 3 GMs, a lot of executive committee members. But it's also part of me giving back, and I love to do that. When any of my former staff that start moving up the ladder, I feel very proud. Okay. It's like a father with a child, in that sense, right? See them grow.
So don't just apply for the company, apply to have a good mentor.
Absolutely.
Looking for your upcoming boss.
Right.
Who's your upcoming boss?
Unselfishly, guiding you. So if you can get that, I tell you that will help you a lot.
Very helpful.
Yes.
And you move up from assistant manager, sales marketing to many leadership level and international assignment from area across many countries. What is your own lesson from, moving up, progressing your career, move to the top? What is your own lesson that you can learn from? Some of the key point or key takeaway, some of the 2 to 3 main thing that you learn from moving up to the top.
If I put it, some of the key things that I learned and, it become part of me, right, is you treat 3 things, I can say that. Prioritize team before yourself, right? So the team makes you successful. It's like a football team, the analogy, right? If you are a striker, you need the midfielder. You need somebody to make sure that your defense doesn't get busted, right? So team before you. Success is a team sport. That's how I see it, right? So again, right, the team will make or break you. Simple that, right? I think you also quoted, right? If the team succeed, I succeed. If the team fail, I fail. Simple as that. We are all in this together.
Sure.
So teamwork is super critical for me. Number 2 is focus. Right, you need to set goals. You need to be able to go through. You need to be able to communicate it clearly to the team so that they can accept and so work on that. Stretch goal, not unrealistic goals, if you can say that. Right. So you do that. I've done that over my career. Always the result become a lot more better than what you do. If you set a low goal, you set a low bar, you get a low result. Right. So basically, that's how it goes. And when you do that often, right, you become part of who you are. You're actually stretching the comfort zone, and your team goes there. And once they do that, and once the result comes in, they actually believe in themselves. When your belief becomes strong, your confidence grow, right? And then you can achieve wonders. The third thing is being authentic, right? I always believe you got to be yourself. You are who you are. You don't pretend to be another person, because anybody can smell you out, right? So again, if you are constantly being authentic, right, the team will know who you are, and they will feel comfortable. You will build trust if you go that way. And there are a lot more. For me, it's always when I lead, I have to be fair to everybody, so that they know that anybody can reach me. You don't favoritize, or you start breaking into cliques, because when that goes, it's dangerous. Right? And then people abuse the system. So basically, some of these things.
Sure. Talking about setting goal, do you set goal to be a GM?
Absolutely. Right. I think I mentioned to you earlier, as a company, we are very performance driven. But also for me, my personality has always been very competitive, but in the right manner, right? I call it, positive kind of energy coming in. I love sports from very young. I represented school teams, in quite a lot of things.
Okay.
So that make your competitive edge that you step up, right? Yeah, correct. I hate losing.
See that I want to be that.
I need to be number one. No, basically that's it. But in the rightful way, fair competition, I call that, right? So we as GMs in the merit world, we do goal setting. Yeah, we call it a balanced scorecard. Some company call KPI, key performance index. So our balanced scorecard is again very balanced. It's like this table, right?
Like how? Yeah.
Like you have four legs here. So all the 4 legs need to be equal.
Okay.
If one fall, the whole thing fall. So when we do balanced scorecard, right, we have around 6 goals, or even more.
6. Okay.
Yeah. So my assessment is based on that, right? It will be market share. Market share meaning to say if we are doing very well, like now we are doing very well, but if our market share is less than the competition, we are not doing well, even though we hit budget.
Okay.
So it is competition against the market. But if the whole market, like last year, we are not doing very well, nobody make budget. But we are better than the market by a whole lot. That means we are doing well.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it goes. So we measure that actually. We measure also the associate side in terms. We have a yearly associate engagement survey. So if the associate not happy, they're going to tell you straight in the face.
All right.
So that means you need to measure.
Can't hide that.
Cannot hide that, right? And we said take care of people, right? So we need to measure their voice,
Okay.
right? The third aspect is on the guests.
Guest
Right,
experience.
so exactly. So, like you said, we are doing very well. Business is good. If you are lacking people, your guest experience will be hit, right? But also your people will feel unhappy because they're stretched. So that's why I call it balance, right? And then of course, from the owner side, we need to make sure we still run a profitable business.
Okay.
So we do that, and also we also we want to drive loyalty. We said. So how do we get more loyalty into the can? So how are we going to enroll that? So those are the things that, just some example. So when we put it together, for me, right, for the company, if any of this goes down, right, you know, it will tilt you down. It depends how it is weighted. So I've been doing that for many years. I've been sharing with the team also. So my goal basically cascade down.
Okay.
Some discipline have more of certain things. Some have the other things. So it's like a pyramid coming down. So that's why I say, if they fail, I fail. Yes, we all linked together. Our fate is all intertwined.
Yeah.
Right. So if they succeed, they move up. They have very nice, balance score coming up. That means I'm okay. So that's how it's really measured. Yeah, very clear, transparent way of doing things.
Mm-hmm. So what is the goal for Sheraton now for this coming year?
I laid down 3 priorities. You can say that the goal is always the balance scorecard goal, right? Like I say, we want to be the best in the market share. We want our F&B revenue to be above budget. Example, right? Because that's all measuring on our local side.
Okay.
We want to make sure our associates are happy. So we have certain goal we need to measure. You have to surpass that, right? Guest experience as well, right?
Yeah.
And then loyalty, we start enrolling more and stuff like that. But for me, there are 3 goals. I shared with the team recently during our kickoff meeting, right? I said 3 planks. Number 1 will be the people side, the culture. How can we improve and enhance the culture, right? And we talk about a lot of things, learning, development, recruitment, in terms of making sure each of our managers, department heads have a high potential, number 2. Or we call person in the pocket. So we have a certain template to start developing them, putting them ready to go if we have positions open. Our goal as a company and for me as a hotel, right? If we have talent in-house, we want to promote that person in-house first. But if you cannot find the talent in-house, then we have no choice but to dive outside. So that's my message to the team, right? So if we have opportunity, but you got to show up. But to show up, we need to look at what you are strong at. What are areas of opportunity you need to develop further? So the first plank will be culture. Of course, right, we still need to infuse what we do as a company. Like I mentioned earlier, the 5 core values. The second aspect will be on the guest experience.
Yeah.
You say it rightly, right? So how can we show more TLC so that our guests will come back again and again? When they come to Saigon, they will want to choose Sheraton Saigon first compared to other hotels. So that is the area that we are prioritizing. These 3 are the key planks. The third one is still, this is we call the cold hard facts. How to maximize revenue. Is that right? So we have to, right, because we have gone through the whole tough time, right? So my ask to the team is, right, the more we do, the more we can invest back. Whether it's people, whether it's salary, whether it's promotion, whether we need to touch up the hotel, this and that. So basically, these 3 planks will be my 3 keys actually for this year.
A lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do.
Are you constantly recruiting new people?
We are, yes. Right now we are more active. You asked me last year.
What kind of level?
The core level has been more or less done. My executive committee level, there are 6 of them. Okay. Yeah, so they represent different discipline, sales and marketing, finance, HR, rooms, food and beverage, and stuff like that, right? So the last one came in 1.5 weeks ago, actually. So it was a bit of search and getting the best candidate in. So the senior leadership team, I'm done. meaning to say I got the people. The middle level, I think we almost have most of the key already. Some are incoming by, the two latest will be probably next month, I think. We already have contract in place, but again, right, for them to move over, they need 30 days, 45 days. The main challenge I have will be on the lower level and supervisory.
I guess so.
Yeah, so those are the ones that we are actively driving to recruit. Yes.
Oh, yes, the opportunities are there. Constantly recruiting, looking for more people to join in the industry as everything starts to pick up again. So good luck with everything.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing, and I look forward to more new projects from Marriott in the coming years, especially in the beach cities.
Thank you.
Across
Thank you very
Vietnam.
much. When they come along, I'll definitely give you a shout so you can enjoy. Thank you. Thanks for the
Thank you so
invitation.
much. Well, that's the story of Mr. Julian Wong, General Manager of Sheraton Saigon Hotel and Towers, which is part of Marriott International, the largest hotel operator in the world. As you can see, this industry is starting to pick up the recovery after COVID-19, and the whole industry is looking for new job seekers, new people, recruiting new talents to meet the rising demand of business travelers, of the whole economy development. And we're welcoming more international visitors and international investors. And of course, Marriott International, they are expanding in Vietnam with 30 more new projects across the country. And we can see how Vietnam is playing a very strategic role in the map of development from Marriott International. And Julian could be your mentor of this career developments as the hotel business is getting back to normal now. So I look forward to your new projects coming in the coming years, and good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe or like or share or give us some comment, and follow us on different podcast platforms. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.